warm welcome to one and all present over here. Thank you so much for all the teachers and educators to have joined the session on a Christmas Eve and also on a Sunday. This is definitely a special day considering various important aspects of schooling. First, it's definitely your vacation starting right now, or else something like pre-boards are just got over, or you're more oriented towards year end and planning to go on a small vacation. And for all those people who are not having holidays, you're really angry at this moment. I'm very sure about it. And at the same time, it's like New Year celebration. You don't really want to, work on any academic work, and that's the reason most of the schools probably have their annual day, sports day, some sort of an event and fest happening at this particular point of time. Well, you would have almost completed the selection of your curriculum for the upcoming academic year, especially from the leader's perspective, and lot other work comes to a certain halt at this particular time. It's like your biological body starts telling you that I am kind of exhausted. The year is going to get over. I need to get rejuvenated, and you all go for the vacations, something like that, right? Anyways, so keeping that in mind, I'll make sure that the session is pretty simple to understand and as short as possible. Every Sunday we keep conducting Super Sunday workshop. For all the people who have joined for the first time, you can join Super Sunday workshops by just clicking on the link that's present on our website, superteacher.in, or else you can get the link from our Telegram channel. You can join the Telegram channel, which will be present in our reflection form, which will come right after the session. It's mandatory for all the people out there to fill up the reflection form in order to get the certificate, which could be used for your mandatory CPDRs. Quickly, before starting the session on children with special needs, part two, I would like to announce that there's going to be a very good event, a very big event called as Computer Science Academicians Wave, CSAW, CSAW. And this particular Seesaw event is going to invite all the people, of course, especially the computer science people or the people who have a knack of technology, who'd really love to see what's happening in the globe with respect to the development of AI, data science, digital literacy, citizenship, and things like that, to please participate in the event. The last date of registration is on 27th. The registration includes a certain questionnaire. Once you nominate yourself for a certain award, which you need to answer. Based on that, the shortlisting will happen and the people will get awards. So this has been happening as a tradition at Super Teacher every year, and some of you already participated in the last as well. So I would request you to please participate in that, and the link for nominating yourself and joining and registration is coming on the chat. So that's with respect to Seesaw event happening on 29th and 30th of this month. And the last date of registration is 27th. I'll repeat, the last date of registration is 27th. That's great. That's great. Let's quickly start with the topic for the day. And today we are going to get into children with special needs, part two. We would have already seen some of the key aspects of what are those things that can be categorized under the section of disabilities. Today we'll also get into the area of how can these disabilities can be converted to certain abilities, which one of our guests actually call that to be sportabilities, and make sure that everyone gets an opportunity to shine on a particular stage. Now when we say shine, what exactly are we talking about? We're talking about excellence over here. We're talking about what are those avenues where a person with a certain category can actually excel. Well, this is actually moving towards equity and not equality. I hope you're able to get the understanding between equity and equality. Let's get into the details. And for that, I would like to quickly share my screen and quickly have a revision of what exactly was spoken last time. I hope everyone is able to hear me clearly, teachers. And if no, then please check your audio connections. I would like to share the screen, and this is how it looks like. Great. Special needs education, part two. And here we go. So first of all, why inclusion? We saw a small video. Some of you had asked for the link as well, which I shared on the same day. But in case if you want, today I'll be sharing the presentation as well. I'm going forward. We understood the difference between impairment and disability. Now, where we spoke about, impairment refers to a lesser degree of complexity in the way our bodies work. Disability refers to inability or not being able to perform a task, which could have been done with an organ that was present or not present. And it's not something that to be sympathized about or pitied about. It's just that an individual has got their own characteristics, and let them be the way they are and treat them the way we treat the other people. That's what the whole idea was when we spoke about special needs education. So it was not from the perspective of sympathy. Definitely not. So here in this case, guidelines for children with special needs, we saw a document where we got to understand how a school has to be constructed in order to make it inclusive and equitable for all the children. We understood about the ramp size. We understood about the lifts to be present in the school where there are more than 3 floors. We also understood the measurement of the corridors and things like that under this particular circular. This was actually on 6th March 2023, circular number 5/2023. Well, this is what is categorized under disability according to uh, Rights of Persons with Disability Act 2016. Well, it got amended multiple times, and this is how it is. Blindness is considered to be disability. Low vision is also coming under the category of disability. Leprosy cured person, hearing impairment, locomotor disability, which has got everything to do with hands and legs, dwarfism, intellectual disability, which comes under the category of where we speak about autism or dyslexia, calculia, dysgraphia, and things like that. Then cerebral palsy, then muscular dystrophy, chronic neurological conditions, specific learning disabilities, which people call as SLDs. It's a broad spectrum, and hence it's categorized under one term called as specific learning disabilities. Multiple sclerosis, speech and language disability, thalassemia, hemophilia, sickle cell disease, multiple disabilities, Parkinson's disease, and of late they added ASIC attack victims as also the part of disabilities. Now this is very important because the moment you categorize this under a certain act, it becomes on paper, and all the things that follows the rules and regulations, the way we approach people with persons with disabilities, everything gets more structured. And that's the reason this act came into place. This act also clearly defines that equal opportunities have to be given both for education and even for the job for the people who are coming under this particular category. And if you are hiring someone for that kind of role with that kind of a disability, in spite of so many um, exclusions, so many hesitations, I think once you hire, it's important to make the surrounding equitable and inclusive. So that's what this document spoke about. We also got into the understanding of inclusive education, and we also mentioned that this was a separate session conducted on Super Sunday workshop about what inclusive education was all about, and what did Indian government do towards it. We spoke about Sayog, we spoke about Divyang. All these were some of the initiatives taken by government in order to support this movement. And let's continue further. There is a separate department which is called as Department of Education of Groups with Special Needs, DEGSN. And this particular department is majorly run by Dr. Srimati Anita Chilka. We spoke about her as well. And the moment we get on into the website, you get lots and lots of materials related to teachers and students who come under this particular category. Then we went to the next slide where we spoke about Anita Julka ma'am, Dr. Anita Julka, and we also got into the details of uh, yeah. So curriculum adaptation for inclusive classrooms, where there was a separate document in which the lesson plans were written, which could be more inclusive in nature. We even opened that PDF document in the last Sunday. We tried to understand, oh, this is how the chapter could be designed so that it can become more inclusive in nature. So that was pretty much about our thing. And we also discussed about some stereotypes. I think that comes right after this. Here we go. Yeah. Under that document, visual impairment, hearing impairment, physical disabilities, cognitive intellectual disabilities were the 4 categories under which the document was done. And stereotypes we discussed, like seeing them as heroic and inspirational, communicates low expectations from the people with disabilities. So let's not look at them like that. People will be like, in spite of their disability, they achieved. Just imagine you're put into that kind of a position, and you're like being told, in spite of this boy being so and so, he's still able to achieve. That doesn't give a sense of, it's as if something special has happened and he was able to achieve this, he got this recognition because of so and so disability. It's indirectly reminding the people that you're disabled. multiple times, every time, in fact. So that is pretty much about what happened in the last time. So I'm just getting on to the revision of what happened in the previous Sunday, ma'am, and that's the reason I'm a little hurrying up. Please don't mistake me. Feeling pity or sympathy with disability and seeing them as victims is another stereotype. They, in reality, too want to be appreciated for their strengths. That's the second aspect. And finally, disabilities does not define them. They are an individual with their own set of capabilities. Yeah. So this was the major discussion about the last Sunday. This Sunday we are going to get into what are the avenues where the people of who are categorized under disability can function. So one of the most important factors over here, the topic for today is the avenues for the people who are coming under the category of disabled, where they can shine. Again, this topic itself will be as if we are giving special attention to them, but it's not the case. It's like everybody can actually participate over there. It's just that under the RPWD Act, they're still defining and trying to come up with avenues where there is a special attention given to people who are disabled, or it's more like seeking their support as well. So here in this case, let me quickly put across one of the most important aspects of a teacher in a classroom is identification of the people who are disabled. More than that, identification of the areas that they really shine. For example, a child who's there in a class with a wheelchair can be really very intellectual with football. Now, just because somebody is there on wheelchair does not mean that they don't have any idea about football. Now, that's a judgment that we carry. Harsha Bhogle did not play any match, but is one of the masterminds of cricket. So it's like the people can have their own intellectuality about a particular sport or a field or a discipline. Maybe they are not an active participant of that. They could be if some special avenues are there, which we are going to discuss today. But the point here is the talent of a particular child can be recognized irrespective of their disability. That's the first point. Now, second, the moment we understand, the intellectuality or the place where these people have the talent, the next step is towards having a lesson plan or classroom specifically arranged for them. For example, right after explaining a particular context or concept, after understanding like what they are relating to, let's change our lesson plan, even if we are not aware about it. For example, here in this case, football. If I have to talk about momentum, if I have to talk about first law of motion, rather than giving an example of a bus or a train, which is a typical example all the time, how about talking about kicking a football? How about talking about a sport player having the ability to stop and fast approaching ball, something like that. The moment we talk about something what they are fascinated about or interested about, it actually connects with them. And not being judgmental about their intellectuality, that's completely fine. So once we get into the details of identification, next is modulating the lesson plan. The third and the most important comes the assessment. Now, assessment should not be from the perspective of only academics where they try to get 100 out of 100. It has to be from higher order thinking skills of putting down their own opinions as well. What do you think about would happen to so and so person when they do so and so activity, something like that. And that will test their intellectuality. And this particular question that we're talking about can be same for everyone. It can be same for everyone, because when we talk about writing, it's completely fine for anyone out there, even a person with the wheelchair. So these are the three major aspects. First is identification, second is modulation of the lesson plan, and the third is assessment mechanism based on whatever the disability they have. Now, this three factors actually come under the category of IEP. I think you would have heard about that. Let me share my screen and show you what is IEP. Now, IEP is a special program actually arranged by multiple bodies. So it is actually called as individualized education plans. And IEP individualized plans is not something that is going to be very different from your existing lesson plan. It's just that it's going to have an additional pointer of what they can do. And when we talk about what they can do, this is what is the category that even in the CBSE workshop on inclusive education was discussed. I think you can see the screen in a few seconds. Great. So I think we discussed about vocational education teachers, and there we spoke about importance of vocational education. We tried to categorize our education, where we said that anything that can be converted in the form of a skill that can, give you some sort of a money in return. It's like plumbing is vocational in nature, but plumbing actually requires a lot of application of mathematics and science. So it's not like you study maths, you become a good plumber, but you need to give the exposure to the plumbing activity as well. That can be done only by vocational area. It's something to do with solving a problem right now in order to lead a better lifestyle. It could be an electrician, it could be carpentry, it could be anything. So these are the vocational skills that were specially mentioned for the children with special needs. A child can get into the areas of agriculture to talk about the pesticides, or to talk about the right way of sowing the seeds and things like that. And this could be something, plumbing is a second category. Electrical and electronics in engineering and area is a special category. In fact, even there are electronics organizations, mechanical organizations, where we think that you require huge strength to perform a certain activity in the companies. It's actually not the case. The design of all these mechanical machines are done on the computer, so they can be really masters at the computers. Then fine art is about singing, dancing, visual arts, or performing arts. It could be anything. Fine arts is something where you showcase your talent with gaining some expertise in a special area that you really love. It could actually include sports as well, which we will be talking about in detail. Food related production, packaging industry, dairy products. These are the place where, again, people with special needs are engaged. Now, just because they're working there as workers doesn't mean they cannot be entrepreneurs. There are so many entrepreneurs out there. In fact, many entrepreneurs out there who are coming under the category of disability according to RPWD Act, but they shine better than whatever we so called as normal people. Well, physical education is the next category. Physical education related aspects. 3D printing technician is a very new domain which has been gaining a lot of attention over the last 5 years, where the people have to design anything they want. You can design, say, Sonia ma'am is having her own design about her. She's just designing it on, say, tinkercad.com or some sort of a website or a platform, and they can actually print it. And if you print it, you can have your own image coming out as a 3D printed model. So this is possible with 3D printing, and 3D printing technicians are on high demand. Well, food technology and food production is another area which most of us are aware about. Wind energy and solar energy technician, smart building technician. Smart building technician is like gaining a lot of attention. Have you been to IKEA anytime? Yes, Vaishali ma'am, you're absolutely right. IKEA, IKEA. IKEA is that place where you get to have all these interiors, a sophisticated cupboard, and it's like, even if you have a 1 BHK apartment, this is how you can design it, and a lot of things, right? So that particular place is the place where you're designing your interiors or your home in a very smart manner. So smart building technician could be categorized under that particular area. Then drama body therapy, it's again related to drama. Physical therapist, digital marketing, poster making, digital content, videography, poultry, food processing, supervisory skills, and sales skills. Now, after completing this explanation, the professors over there, after speaking everything, they said that please open the document where there is an encouragement of vocational skills for the people who are, accounted as normal. And you know what? The list was pretty much matching. So indirectly, they communicated that this is not a dedicated list only for people who are coming under the category of disability. In fact, it is for everyone. And even the people who are coming under the category of disability can still be the same and perform the same. It's just that they need to be inclusive. The infrastructure has to be inclusive. Let's quickly understand the same in the form of a small video. And We the 15 is a movement by Paralympics. We'll talk about Paralympics as well. And it's like 15% of the world population comes under the disabled category. Please watch this video. It will definitely give you a very good idea. And let's not have sympathy.
You're such an inspiration.
So brave.
You remind me to be happy.
I love that you don't let it get you down.
Good for you.
It breaks breaks my heart.
Look at you out and about.
You push us all to do better.
You are superheroes.
Really?
Yeah, with superheroes, all right.
For getting the kids out the door on time.
We push strollers.
Io sono il passeggino.
Grateful.
But there's nothing special about us.
We have mortgages.
Kill houseplants.
Watch reality TV.
Pretend we're watching reality TV.
Vi adesso with duvets.
Get sunburn on holiday.
We're politicians and lobsters. Pension advisors.
We get married. We met on a blind date.
And we can laugh at ourselves too.
We love our grannies.
And our go-go's.
We pray 5 times a day. And no, I'm not praying for a cure. I'm praying for a new handbag.
We swipe right. We go on first dates.
And get lucky too.
So are the pedestals are nice?
And the pity tolerated.
We're not special. That's not what it's like. Non è la nostra realtà.
And only when you see us.
Wonderfully ordinary.
Wonderfully human.
Only then.
Can we all break down these barriers?
That keep us apart.
That's 1 billion people.
So that's one of the greatest movements called as the International Paralympics Movement, IPM, or IPC, International Paralympics Committee, where they try to talk about the importance of everyone sportsmanship. I mean, it's not like you're not disabled. You're just having a special game. That's it. And treating them separately is like not at all the right thing. So Sir Ludwig Guttmann was the man behind introducing something really amazing. So there are rehabilitation centers where the people are treated. I mean, this treatment is for the legs or for the arms or for any sort of disability. And this rehabilitation center actually comes up with a lot of medication on a day-to-day life, every day. He came up with a very good idea of how about engaging these people. So whenever you look into any rehabilitation center, you'll find a dull atmosphere sort of a thing. He didn't want that to be there. So he started introducing, the ball throw activity, which got evolved as volleyball over the period of time, which got evolved as tennis over the period of time, which got evolved as catch ball over the period. Multiple sports started getting included in rehabilitation center, and Sir Ludwig Guttmann had a broader vision, saying that how about having a world competition on wheelchair, on people with one arm, rather than calling it as people without one arm, people with one arm. That was interesting. So he came up with this idea and he promoted this, and I really would like to share that as well. And for that I need to go over here, the separate place, and that would give a phenomenal understanding of where the world stands with respect to inclusive education and respect towards fellow human beings, irrespective of the way they are. So for that, I would like to share my screen again and play another video, and we'll quickly get on into with a session right after that with our guest today. And here we go. I think you're able to see the screen.
As I understand it, it all kicked off in one room in Bruges, in Belgium.
Well, this is my office, and this was also the headquarters of the IPC. We shared one typewriter, one computer, and a fax machine, which was new technology in those years.
We wanted to make it a sports structure, not a disability structure. We wanted to look more at inclusion. We wanted to move to a functional classification. There was a whole series of challenges and opportunities ahead of us that we needed to bring together.
For me, it was quite an experience, because everybody around that table had very, very strong opinions, and we used to call each other friendly enemies. In the end, people could go to the bar and have a good drink.
And it was during that period of time when we started to work closer and closer with the International Olympic Committee, trying to experience and take advantage of their leadership and the wonderful things that they did in sport.
We have to remain and build upon being an athlete-centred organisation.
I think the IPC is doing really good. You know, they make it very professional and high quality, so I really think they do a good job.
The UN Convention did influence the work of the IPC because it's been written from the point of view of the individual.
All people have the right for sports in their education, not only persons without disabilities, but also with disabilities.
With regard to what have our achievements been, look at Beijing. An official government report said, before the Games, person with an impairment will be a beggar on the street. After the Games, they were a long jumper, they were a wheelchair basketball player, they were a football player. In London, it was just sport, sport and more sport. Give me more sport. That stadium was full from morning till night.
What London 2012 did was push the Paralympic movement, especially in athletics, above what it was before.
So that was about the Paralympic, committee coming up with such initiatives in 1984, and then it started from 1989, and even to this day, I think 2023 this was conducted again, and multiple people are participating. This is going to continue further. It's just that the statement that very strongly said that people came to the stadium to watch these matches not out of sympathy that the people are disabled and they're playing. No, they came looking at the people as a separate sports, and you can see that in the running or in the any sort of a competition, there were also people who are categorized under non-disabled or also participating in the event. So it was not about the environment, or the aura was not talking about their disability. It was continuously speaking on their capabilities and their excellence whenever they win an award. So this was with respect to the Paralympics, and that's how it began. It was a quick summary on what exactly it was done. But in order to talk about this in Indian context, like many people were actually putting it on the chat separately to me, like where are the Indians standing, or where is India standing in that particular regard? And in order to actually understand that, I really did a part of my research, and I came across one of the amazing personalities that I've ever met, and he's CA Sunil Kumar Jane, and I'm going to talk about you. And right after that, let's have a quick conversation with him and then understand about few questions. You can put it on the chat as well, some of your questions. We can quickly talk to Sunil sir directly. CA Sunil Kumar Jane, a chartered accountant. He's a fellow member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, has overcome physical challenges caused by poliomyelitis to achieve remarkable success. Born and raised in Bengaluru, he made a pivotal decision at 17 to cease medical treatment and pursue academic aspirations. Completing his CA course in 2002, he gained expertise in tax litigation and before establishing his practice. Actually, in 2011, Sunil initiated Kid Impact, KID Impact, with Riverside School, encouraging social projects in Karnataka schools. He founded Indian Wheelchair Tennis Tour, IWTT, in 2016 to promote wheelchair tennis excellence in India. Under his leadership, IWTT advocated for formal competitive structures, hosted numerous tournaments, and initiated grassroots programs, increasing players from 30 to over 90 today. Sunil's impactful work extends beyond sports, including managing paraswimmer Vishwas KS and co-authoring a paper on India's Paralympic movement. His innovative Jugalbandi sports events and the Life is a Scoreboard workshop showcase his commitment to inclusivity. Currently, Sunil aims to establish a fully accessible wheelchair tennis training facility integrated with education by December 2023. So this is his vision, and he has been working on this phenomenally. Let's understand this over a video, and for that, I would like to quickly share my screen once again and show you what exactly Sunil sir is doing. And here we go. You'll be able to see the video in another 3, 2, and 1. You should be able to see it. Great. So that was Chennai, then Bengaluru, then Hyderabad. So multiple companies coming forward and supporting Sunil Jain sir in this particular moment, making it a global event, not only the country event, is actually paving ways for us to be part in one of the competitive environments in India. Yeah, in global market, in fact. Let's quickly get on, and I would like to invite Sunil sir with this is one important thing. Here we go. Great. Very good morning, Sunil sir. You're there on the spotlight. I hope you're able to hear me and see me clearly.
Very, very good morning, Vasudev. Thank you so much. Yes, it's very clear.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Fantastic. We saw your work. We have been following your work since quite some time. And children with special needs is a topic that we deal with the schools, educators across. And I think somewhere the work that you are doing, if it gets transcribed or boiled down to the people who are actually change makers in the country right now, the teachers, it can be quite encouraging for these teachers to make sure that yes, these are the avenues where you guys can participate, where we would like to be supportive, and let's help each other. So in that regard, I just wanted to quickly understand, see, how did you get into the world of this amazing terminology called as adaptive sports activities? Could you please tell us what this ASA, adaptive sports activities, mean, and how did you get into that? Please, sir, over to you.
Sure, Vasudevan. Thank you so much, Vasudevan. Before I start saying anything, I really want to acknowledge and appreciate the effort that you are putting in to bring all the teachers on Sunday morning. And teachers, my salutations to you. Congratulations for what you do. Thank you for what you do. I think you're not a change maker. You are the maker of the world. I mean, you got an opportunity to interact with the budding soul, right? And thank you so much for doing what you do. And it's not easy. I can clearly appreciate. Now, coming to the question of adapted physical activity or adapted physical sports, it's basically a science that is evolving in the other part of the world, where scientifically evolved processes and educations in the academic world, where education is imparted in terms of how does a human being evolve by adapting to the physical environment that he or she is exposed to in a current context, right? So as you rightly said in the initial minutes, it's not about medical disability. The world is moving more towards functional disability or functional ability, so to say. So how do we move from, see, medical condition is there at one point and we can deal with that with the medical interventions, medications, etc. But as a human being, what you or I are defined by is our functionality. And there are two kinds of functionality. One is a physical functionality, which is more visible in terms of what we do, our actions, our behavior, etc. But there's another functionality that is very unique to each one of us, which we can call intellectual ability, comprehension, thinking ability. If we put all together, people have named it differently for different ways, right? Some guy called soul, atma, or your uniqueness, your true potential, your potent potential. We can name it anything, but the point is the uniqueness getting expressed. So if we don't have consciously creating an environment where people can adapt without loss of any dignity, without the experience of feeling anything less, that at the macro level is adapted physical science, adapted physical education, adapted physical activity. So that's the world that we come from. And it need not be only for kids with the disability or people with the disability. It could also be for senior citizens. It could also be for women with pregnancy, right? So depending upon the body type, you need environment where you can adapt easily or contextually, so to say.
Fantastic. So, adaptation to the environment based on the body. Wow, that's really amazing. So, teachers, we have got a new terminology to actually learn about, which is called as adapted physical sports or adaptive physical activities. I would request you to please research a little more about it. But as a summary, in a very sweet manner, thank you so much, Sunil sir. I would actually, that brings me to the next question about many teachers were asking it on the chat as well. As a country like India, when we talk about adapted physical sports, how much are we really about aware about? I mean, what are those avenues? As an Indian person, I don't think so like many people even know about it until at least at my level I had to research about it. I had to actually find what it is. So the awareness factor is quite less is what we felt. But from your perspective of your research over such a long time, what do you think about the India stand from global market? Where do we stand on understanding of adaptive physical sports?
Wonderful. It is a very, very critical question, Vasudevan, a very important question. And listeners who are listening into this question and my response are teachers, right? So it becomes very imperative for me to give the basic what's happening. Now, if you look around the media conversations, obviously there is an increased participation when it comes to sporting event, when it comes to medal tally in the sporting event. We are doing extremely well over the last one decade, and medals are increasing, participations are increasing. But if you deep dive little bit into the ground reality and observe the contextual setting, what you will observe that we are not even scratching the surface of what's possible through sports for an individual or for community, for the simple reason that entire orientation is towards winning more medals than how do I use this powerful tool called sports for one's evolution, one's development, which I told you in the beginning, like functionality, not only the physical functionality, but as a human being, my thinking capacity, my capacity to interact with other individual, understand the human values, soft values. Actually, that is what the Paralympic movement in the Western world or the world outside India is endeavoring to. Unfortunately, in India, for people with the disability, the community and the ecosystem looks to sports more as a medium for one, jobs, financial empowerment, that is money, whether it is a cash prize or government rewards through win for winners, etc., or sometime recognition, which is very, very important for a human existence, a regard. Like everybody wants to be feeling relevant in the society. So these three are taking over than what is actually possible. So one of the point we observed on the ground, what happens in para sports or sports for persons with a disability, like to create equity, as you rightly said in the beginning, the level playing field, each sport has classification. Like for swimming, person with one arm, if he or she is competing with a person with the two arms, that's not fair, right? It's not a level playing field. To ensure there's a level playing field, the person with one arm will compete or should compete with only person with one hand, and person with two hand will compete with person with two hand. Now, it is not as simple as I am saying like one hand, two hand. When it comes to functional disability, functionality, body, depending upon my disability, functions very uniquely for a particular sport. To give a sense of what I'm saying, in swimming, there are 13 classification, functional classification. In athletics, there are about 50 classification. So every sport has number of classification in the context of the sport. Now, India, what's happening is we don't have a clear classification system structure established. Because of that, what people with a disability or the ecosystem tell them is, if you get high classification, which is high disability classification, competition will be less, you will win the medal. So this is a paradox. At one hand, we can use sport as a breaking barriers, but the entire ecosystem is orienting towards how can I be classified as a more disabled person? That is a very saddening part. So when you ask me what is happening in India, while investment is increasing, infrastructures are increasing, competitions are increasing, but awareness of the power of sport, a scientific education program where we can actually tell people, teachers, or parents, like what is actually possible for a human being to sport, that is completely missing, or it's very, very rare. So that's the current scenario. Whether it is a positive or negative is left to one's interpretation and argument.
Fantastic. So yeah, that's really paradoxical in nature. Where yeah, it's exactly. So the more you try to include, the more is the categorization that gets increased. Well, I think that interpretation and debates and argument has to increase more and more, so that end of the day discussions and arguments leads to a certain level of conclusion, probably benefiting everyone, right?
Exactly.
Great.
Exactly.
So coming to the one final last question, sir. Again, it's one of from the teachers out there. They mentioned that we understand the importance of inclusivity. We understand the avenues right now, but what as a teacher that I can do in my class, to maintain inclusivity, like it's not that increase inclusivity, it's like maintain inclusivity and encourage such kind of engagements, like at school level, what a teacher or a school management can do. Could you please throw some
Awesome.
ideas on that regard?
I'm so happy that somebody asking this question, right?
Yeah.
And it speaks about commitment of that particular individual of the community to really provide structures and environment of equity.
Right.
Now, the first thing I would suggest, or if I may ask people to do, I may including myself, right? Today, I may be involved in Paralympic movement in India or inclusivity, so to say, but when I interact with people with hearing and speech impairment, I still feel disabled because I have not learned the sign language. I have not. That's honest thing. I never got an opportunity or never invested time. I have 100 reasons, but fact of the matter is I have not learned sign language. This, if I have to interact, I need to know to which world I am walking into. It's not a social gathering, right? We want you to school. As a teacher, I will first, what I'll do according to me is sit back, research a bit, understand what is that world about. A people with a disability who's on a wheelchair, his world is very unique from a person who cannot see. Their world is unique. So if you can take some action to sensitize yourself, or first interact with an adult who has such certain condition similar to the kids in your school or in your classroom, I think that is the beginning foundation for you to be enabled to have a meaningful conversation with the individual or individuals in your classroom.
Right.
I think that's the first fundamental thing. We tell in leadership programs that empathy comes from listening.
Correct.
And listening is usually in the name of listening, we keep saying many things, but can I listen to that human being? So that's the basic, I think. And then there are a lot of educational programs, workshop. If you have a kid with cerebral palsy, there are institutes that will educate you on the world of people with cerebral palsy, both medical world, their behavioral world, their condition, etc. So each disability comes with little complexity, uniqueness. So if you can invest before you walk into the conversation some of your time, that is the first thing I would say. I will not get into the technicalities, but that's the background. That will be very, very powerful.
Great, fantastic, sir. So that's with respect to spreading the awareness, spreading the word as much as possible. That's lovely, lovely. So finally, the last question before actually we conclude on this. What exactly do you do under Indian Wheelchair Tennis Store? Like, how can, we need to know a little bit about it in about 2 or 3 minutes, so that we try to contribute to that particular area and see what best as an individual that we can do. Could you please throw some light on that, sir?
So Indian Wheelchair Tennis Tour basically is an initiative to develop one particular sport. Like we looked at a lot of sports for people with a disability, right? And given the structure in India, we require an ecosystem which can enable this sport to grow. When I say this sport to grow, when we started to work in 2016, the question that we confronted was, should we focus on having medals for India, or should we have a grassroots program where we just use sports as a development? And my leadership skills or my leadership wisdom tells me, if we focus on whether competition or grassroots, it will not work. We need to create an ecosystem having a 360-degree approach, which means that have a scientifically developed grassroots program where sport is introduced for kids with physical disability, have a leadership program, administrative structure in India, which can lead to a competitive structure, which is in integrity. So from 2016, our endeavor is towards that, and also create infrastructures where this kind of programs can happen. Kids with people with kids with a disability can learn many things in their life, whether it is science, mathematics, as you were saying. Law of motion cannot be just a very rudimentary example of rain moving or bus moving. It could also be a ball, right? It can happen on a tennis court. Biology classes can happen on a tennis court. So we are trying to move towards that, where integrate education and sports for kids with disability, especially wheelchair tennis. And we are looking at creating our infrastructure in India. So that's what we are doing. Our vision is my vision, I get really inspired when I visualize hundreds and hundreds of kids playing every day, period. Like I say, what is your childhood if you are not played? Can you imagine your childhood if you have not played? Just imagine for 1 minute.
Difficult.
You can't.
Yeah.
Really, you can't. But this is not an imagination for thousands of kids with the disability. They don't even get an opportunity to move out of house. So our endeavor is to bring all those kids, especially from rural area, out in the sun, make them play, and in the process they learn whatever they learn about themselves, about the world. That's what we are endeavoring to do.
Fantastic, sir. Fantastic. Thank you so much for giving that information. And I would, from my side, whatever best could be possible, try to spread the information about the first movement actually in India, which we're very much aware about, towards encouraging Paralympics and wishing to see some wheelchair tennis happening in the Olympics level, Paralympics level, from the movement that you have started in India. And let people get inspired by your work and have their own small ecosystems in their surroundings to build something at the level that you have envisioned. So let's see that.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much, Sunil sir. It was great and lovely to talk to you. I hope all the teachers out there, I'm 100% sure that they would have got a huge amount of awareness in this particular zone. I would also ensure to translate your words in the form of your website and LinkedIn profile in our documents and sharing with all the people. And let's see how many get back on that regard. Yeah.
If you can just give me 1 more minute, Vasudhev.
Sure, sir.
Yeah, because I didn't want to miss something that you brought in the beginning called ability, disability, and then I was like
please go ahead. Please go ahead, sir. Please go ahead.
Portability. I just
Sportability,
completed.
yeah, I really like that.
Yeah,
So teachers, the sportability word I got to know from, or got inspired from Sunil sir. Over to you, sir, please.
Yeah, sportability. So I'm trying to create a new language, because I believe what gives a manifest reality is our language. So imagine a world where we are not talking about the ability or disability of a human being. We are talking about sportability. Now, one may think sportability is only for playing sport. I don't say that. Sportability is integration of my functionality, which is both physical functionality as well as my thinking capacity as a human being uniqueness, right? And that exactly what happens when you go on to achieve excellence in sporting world. A person who is excellent in a particular sport, he has such an ability to manage his physical barriers and ability and strength. At the same time, the mental ability, the mental strength. And when they two get married, that's sportability to me.
Lovely. Lovely.
Now, if we can orient every conversation in the world towards portability. I'm not talking about kids with a disability or without disability. I'm talking about how sportable are you? Like, can you be sportive and do this job? There's a different conversation. There's a different orientation. I think that is very enabling and that's what I am trying to experiment, create. And I've created a workshop for that also called life is a scoreboard. So,
Yeah,
I mean, there's a very exciting world to explore, is what I thought.
fantastic, sir. Altogether, out of the box thinking, and you pursued on that. So that's something really inspiring. We wish to see your workshop on that. Like, is it available somewhere on the internet, or is
Uh,
it like we need to approach you for that?
no, it's away. I mean, I have not created any website or any social media present for that. It's a word to word, and I am just doing the experimental part of it. Personally, if we can anybody connect and we can talk about it.
Lovely, lovely. I'll share the information accordingly, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It was great interacting, and
Thank you
so
for the opportunity.
no problem. It's our pleasure. Yeah. So now, coming back to the children with special needs teachers, and I think we would have got a good amount of awareness about what is exactly disability and how it is normal. It like normal is everything. In fact, we talk about equity as well, and we spoke about some of the government initiatives along with the person who has actually given his life into developing avenues for people of a certain category. In order to actually conclude our event of this particular stature, and give credits to the respect to Sir Ludwig Gutmann, I would like to play one final video and then we can close for the session. And for that, I would like to share my screen right away. And here we go.
Johnny Peak, proud of him.
Dr. of Sir Ludwig Gutmann. Anyways, so that brings us to the end of the session. Thank you so much, teachers, for participating in another Super Sunday workshop. We strive to bring as much credible information as possible with such workshops. I would request all the teachers out there to please pass on this information to as many people as possible so that everybody learns and gets to grow their mindset. So this particular aspect of special needs is an integral part of any education system across the globe. Keeping Indian context, it's still not getting the attention it is supposed to. Well, Government of India, Ministry of Education has been trying really hard, bringing a lot of initiatives and movements, but it's just that such kind of workshops will give you gentle reminders that such things are present. These do not come as advertisements on TV, right? And the advertisements are more about the tiles, more about the costumes, and not really about what things actually do matter. Hence, Sunday workshops can be actually helpful for all the people out there, especially who are into the sector of education. So that brings me to the end of the second part of children with special needs. We'll get on in with another Super Sunday workshop with another beautiful topic. The last day of this year, 31st December. I would request everybody to be there on that particular day as well, if possible. And the sessions will have the YouTube videos present on SuperTeacher official YouTube channel. You can actually have the reference anytime. This marks the 10 months of Super Sunday workshops. 41st session was today and 42nd will be the next, and it will continue forever as long as possible. So that's it from my side. Thank you so much for participating. Remember to join Seesaw event, Seesaw Awards. I'll see you on 29th and 30th during the event. Thank you so much, and Jai Hind. Bye everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, teachers. I'm just checking the chat right now. Yeah. Merry Christmas to one and all. Thank you. And Happy New Year. Yeah, Happy New Year. I have one more session to speak about. Yes, Nisha ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, Geeta ma'am. Thank you so much. Dheeraj Sharma. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Dorothy ma'am. Thank you so much. Ismatullah Sheikh. Thank you. Thank you, Shrishti ma'am. Okay. Thank you, Sarabjit ma'am. Thank you so much. You remember, I'm moved. Thank you. Yes, Sukhdira ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Means a lot. Yeah. Oh, Mrs. Dheeraj. Sorry, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. Thank you. Great. Thank you, Poonam ma'am. You've been very consistent. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shupika ma'am. Thank you, Shivani ma'am. Yes. Manpreet ma'am, you will get the certificate to your mail ID directly. Thank you. Thank you. Happy holidays. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Sai Jyoti ma'am. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Mitali ma'am. Merry Christmas to you too. Himlata ma'am, Merry Christmas. Thank you. Poonam ma'am, please write a mail to sushmita@superteacher.in or message me on my number. You have it on the reflection form. Yeah. Thank you, Pushpalata ma'am. Remember to participate in Seesaw Awards in case if you're interested. You'll love it. We'll have great leaders from different organizations coming and speaking to us. Lovely. Great. Let's close for the day and see you in the next Super Sunday workshop. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Tamanna ma'am.